We begin tonight with our chief intelligence correspondent, Catherine Herridge, live in Washington. Catherine?
Well, thank you, Megan. Tonight, ISIS social media accounts are lighting up and celebrating the attack in Munich, the same way they did a week ago when an ISIS supporter mowed down 84 people with his truck in Nice, France. To be clear, there has been no claim of responsibility for the shooting in Munich by any terror group, and German authorities say the motive is unclear. Within the last hour, confirmation at a press conference in Germany that the suspect is 18 years old, holds German and Iranian citizenship, and that a man found dead near the scene killed himself and is probably the sole shooter in the attack. Earlier, police said they were searching for up to 3 suspects based on eyewitness accounts. But after a review of security camera video and interviews, the German police have concluded that 2 others who fled the scene had nothing to do with the incident. Meantime, the Department of Justice here in Washington is offering investigators support and assistance, and earlier today, the Homeland Security Secretary Jay Johnson told Fox he is receiving regular updates on Munich.
It highlights that we all have to be vigilant in Homeland Security, in law enforcement, really worldwide, and especially in this country with the national political conventions this week and next week.
A terrorism analyst is also drawing our attention tonight to the reported targeting of children at that McDonald's in Munich and also in Nice, France, emphasizing that both al-Qaeda and ISIS have advocated this type of attack because murdering children leaves the deepest scar in every community. Megan.
Oh, God. Catherine, thank you.
You're welcome.
Serious fallout tonight after Donald Trump's historic acceptance speech last night in Cleveland, as some leading Democrats ripped what they called Mr. Trump's darkly negative message as one meant to alarm Americans into supporting his campaign. Here's some of what they had an issue with.
Our convention occurs at a moment of crisis for our nation. The attacks on our police and the terrorism of our cities threaten our very way of life. The first task for our new administration will be to liberate our citizens from the crime and terrorism and lawlessness that threatens our communities. When I take the oath of office next year, I will restore law and order to our country.
And here is how Hillary Clinton and President Obama reacted.
This idea that America is somehow on the verge of collapse, this vision of violence and chaos everywhere, doesn't really jive with the experience of most people.
I heard about Donald Trump's dark and divisive vision. He offered a lot of fear and anger and resentment, but no solutions about anything that he even talked about.
Joining me now, Clinton supporter and DNC committee member Robert Zimmerman. So, Robert, the president is right that that doesn't really jibe with most Americans' experiences, but he set up a straw man. He does this all the time. Trump wasn't saying that America's falling apart and there's murder everywhere. He was citing stats about increased murder rates and increased killings of cops. That's real.
Well, actually, according to every leading fact-checking organization, they're in fact not real. In fact, the Washington Post fact-checker that you often use on me made the point that upon closer scrutiny, these doomsday statistics fall apart.
Which one specifically? Because I'm looking at them right here. He said homicides last year increased by 17% in America's 50 largest cities. That's true.
Well, excuse me. The Washington Post fact-checker made the point that they have, in fact, declined by more than half since the height in 1991.
This is from Washington Post, that they have increased by 17% in America's 50 largest cities.
Excuse me, Megan. If you read the whole article, they'll point out that in 1991, the statistics have shown that they, in fact, have declined in half. Furthermore, when he makes reference to police officers dying in the line of duty, that's also false.
No, it isn't. The number of police officers killed in the line of duty has risen by almost 50% compared to this point last year, he said. Washington Post. This is true if you use what the Trump... No, let me finish. The WAPO. This is true if you use what the Trump campaign did, July 2014 to July 2015, and compare it to the following year. And that's why the
Washington Post fact-checker says that he's taking statistics out of context, he's manipulating them, and he's just sometimes plain wrong.
He's going back the last 12 months.
Excuse me. Excuse me, Megan. The bigger point here is I've seen third world dictators give more rational, factual speeches than Donald Trump did last night. He's a dangerous neophyte, and the fact that it's not just the Washington Post fact checker, but the Pulitzer Prize fact-checking organization PolitiFact said he was wrong as well. And the real issue here is the reason most leading generals have criticized Donald Trump, as well as leading Republicans in Congress like Mike McCall, is because what he's saying is making us not more safe, is making us in a more dangerous environment.
How is it making us more dangerous?
Because according to Mike McCall, the chairman of Homeland Security in the House, when he advocated his ban of Muslims coming into our country, Chairman McCall said that was a recruiting tool for terrorists. Ray Ardiano made the point that, in fact, his strategy of just dropping bombs in the Middle East was dangerous and was hurting us in the war against ISIS. My point simply is, when you look at the ticket of Hillary Clinton and Tom Kaine running, you see stability and strength versus Donald Trump, who's a dangerous neophyte, and Mike Pence, who as governor actually advocated legislation that would allow businesses not to serve gay and lesbian people, wanted to shut the government down for not funding Planned Parenthood.
And then he walked back under pressure. I got to go because I got another guest coming up. Okay, great to see you, Robert.
But it's great to be with you.